Welcome, Aries, to the month of September 2018. I'm Megan of North Star Astrology, and this is another general transits reading for those of you born with your sun, moon, and or rising signs in the first zodiacal sign of Aries, the Ram. And with that, I wanted to show you something new that I'm introducing to your reading. And that is your attributes, both positive characteristics and or attributes, and the negative characteristics. And I drew this and will be coloring it in just like with all the other sun signs. And it's all in order. So I'm going to hopefully do that right after the reading. And so, getting right to it, September 2nd starts out with Mars in your 10th house of career in Capricorn, trining the moon in Taurus over here in your second house of money. And that happens at 8 hours, 3 minutes into the day of September 2nd. Then the last quarter moon occurs at 10 degrees Gemini, 34 minutes in your third house of communications. And subsequently, there is, and I don't have one of these, Jupiter also on September 3rd in conjuncts, and that is a 5 sign away. So it in conjuncts somehow at 17 hours 43 minutes. It's saying Jupiter in conjunct Saturn, but I don't see how that could be. Oh boy. That's so strange. Jupiter is in Scorpio in your 8th house. Saturn is in Capricorn. That's a sextile. I don't know why it's saying that. Oh boy. It did say on September 3rd at 17 hours and 43 minutes, Jupiter in conjunct Saturn. Boy, that's strange. Okay, well, we're going to disregard that because I'm not quite sure why that's saying that. But with an in conjunct, there is an insecurity about the self, about manifesting something about yourself. Anyhow, however, on September 4th, the following day, Mercury, now that it's gone direct in Leo, in your 5th house of romance and creativity, sextiles the moon from your 5th to your 3rd houses, and still with the moon in its last quarter. So with this positive sextile from Mercury in the fire sign in its natural ruling house, sextiling the moon in its last quarter to Gemini, you now have this ability to communicate with your romantic partner and or reinstate some sort of loving something or other. Not really quite sure. However, then 2 more days from then, Saturn in Capricorn stations direct in your 10th house of career at 11 hours 10 minutes. And on the same day, Mercury goes from Leo into Virgo, making a planetary ingress to your, or into your 6th house of work, health, and service given. That happens at 2 hours 40 minutes on September 6th. Also on September 6th, Mars in your 10th house in Capricorn opposes the moon. Once the moon enters your 4th house of the home in Cancer, and now opposes, pardon the Virgin Goddess, this is for September and the Virgos, or any one of us. Okay, so Mars opposing the moon in Cancer. This opposition occurs at 13 hours and 55 minutes into the day on September 6th, giving you the emotional drive and or ability to take action in the career versus home life. And there may be some challenges there, and as I always say, this is the point of awareness, giving you the ability to tell your boss or your higher ups within your career force or sector that, hey, I need some home time, alone time, time to time off in your home. And then on September 8th, Venus, having been transiting your 7th house of others and the house of relationship in Libra, sextiles the moon once the moon goes into Leo. So now from the 5th to the 7th houses, your emotions are very flamboyant and or beautifully romantic and positive toward your significant other and others that you deal with, such as business partners. So there's this wonderful ability with this 60-degree positive aspect to and through romantic partners and or significant others. A loving situation going on there at 14 hours 30 minutes into the day of September 8th. Then on September 9th, the new moon occurs in your 6th house of work and health and service given at exactly 17 hours in Virgo, the Virgin. And with this goddess or newness of the goddess of the sun and moon coming together and forming the new moon, along now with Mercury also in its ruling position, you now have the ability to really set things straight and take new strides in your workplace in a positive way, of course. And then also on September 9th, Venus, enters Scorpio into your 8th house of others as resources, and that happens at 9 hours 26 minutes. And now once again, there's the ability to be more sensual with that planetary ingress or changing of the guards, changing of the signs here. Then on September 10th, at 15 hours 14 minutes, Mars in your 10th house then trines the moon. So with the 4 signs away here, still with the moon building toward its last quarter, but still in its newness. So Mars trine Moon, giving you the ability to emotionally and harmoniously take actions in a most positive sense, rather than doing things so brashly or impulsively now. You will be more genial, as with all of this Virgoan energy, you will have the harmonious use of common sense, and it will be very harmonious for those involved in your workplace as well as your whatever career it is that you are endeavoring in. Then on September 11th, Mars leaves your 10th house, entering Aquarius in your 11th house. And I hope you can all see all of this with my amethyst up here and in the way. But so now Mars is in your 11th house of friendships, goals, hopes, and wishes. Mars enters Aquarius at 0 hours 57 minutes. And also on September 11th, Pluto in your 10th house of career squares the moon. Once the moon goes into your 7th house of relationships, and or 3 houses or 3 signs away, and here's Pluto over here in Capricorn, and you're having still transiting your 10th house of career, a very good time to emotionally take additional strides. Just be careful and be aware of the ego, your ego. I don't know if you can see that. Be careful of your ego. In other words, try not to maybe perhaps emotionally boast about something you're good at with the Pluto square moon. Not to say you can't toot your own horn, but let's see. Then on September 12th, Jupiter then sextiles Pluto. So there's okay, Jupiter in your 8th house in Scorpio is now sextiling Pluto, so water, earth, and that's why there's a pleasant 60-degree angle or flowing aspect 7 hours and 56 minutes into the day. And what this can do for you is give you that ability to largely transform something within your career. Then on September 14th, the sun sextiles the moon from your 6th to your 8th houses, giving you the ability to emotionally ask for either a promotion or a raise, depending on what position you hold, and it will be a very positive outcome. Then on September 16th, the sun squares the moon. Once the moon goes into your 9th house of religion and philosophy, higher education, and law, in Sagittarius. And here the sun is still in your 6th house of work. And this square happens at 11 hours 9 minutes and gives you, 23 hours and 16 minutes. So almost 24 hours. And with this square, however, or 3 house away square, there is this 90-degree angle of emotional, perhaps soul searching that you are trying to aim for, as in the Centaur, Sagittarian's arrow. Moon in the 9th house, something very spiritually enlightening, and or something to do with your health, maybe traveling a distance to a specialist, or, and I'm not talking about anything negative here, I'm just saying something to do with maybe being a speaker at a seminar, or a some sort of like I don't know, something to do with a responsibility, with something you're assigned to do in terms of speaking, and it may turn out very philosophically charged for you. Then also on September 16th, then the first quarter moon occurs in, wait a minute here. Oh, well, that's shortly after the square. The first quarter moon occurs in your 9th house at 24 degrees 2 minutes Sagittarius. So newness, something new stemming from the new moon in terms of traveling for work. Then on September 19th, the sun trines the moon. Once the moon goes into your 10th house of career, ego, and public standing, and then trines the moon in Capricorn, the other cardinal sign, your cardinal fire, this is cardinal earth. And having the moon trine the sun gives you that much more positive influence in a very harmonious way to your emotions and your intellect and your whatever it is. I mean, since oh, and by the way, if I've forgotten, hello, Mars is your ruling planet, and when it was in your 10th house of career, you really had a very charged up early part of September, very positive strides. And then on September 21st, Jupiter squares the moon. Once the moon goes into your 11th house of friendships, so these are both fixed signs, Scorpio, Jupiter in Scorpio squares the moon in Aquarius. This fixed energy gives you the ability to maybe have a little bit of emotional, possible emotional argumentativeness, and or some sort of challenge to asking for a friend's resources and maybe not necessarily getting it, but hopefully you will. I don't know. Then on September 22nd, Mercury leaves Virgo and enters Libra in your 7th house of relationships. And let's see. Then the following day, September 23rd, the sun enters Libra at 1 hour and 55 minutes into the 7th house. So opposing your sign here. So, well, there's no oppositions actually, but but into your opposite sun sign of Libra, and that's at 1 hour and 55 minutes into the day. Then also on the following day, September 24th, Jupiter trines the moon. Once the moon enters your 12th house of the subconscious mind and dream state. Now, Jupiter in Scorpio to the moon in Pisces, both very watery signs here. So now you have a very harmonious trine from your subconscious mind to your deep delving sector. And in a big way, this trine can help you tap in to things that might have been possibly troubling you in some way. And then on September 25th, the full moon happens in your sign, Aries, in your first house of the self and body, and creating a figurative 180 axis to the sun in Libra, to the moon in Aries, and the full moon happens at 1 degrees Aries, 60 minutes. Then on September 26th, Pluto squares the moon. So again, here we have this full moon in your sign now, in the first house of the self and body, in 90-degree square, challenging aspect to Pluto, transiting your 10th house of career, giving you a huge ability or step up to being able to speak up for yourself in terms of your career. And then on September 28th, the final day of the month, and this will be the second opposition of the month. When the moon finally goes into, or comes full circle into your second house of money and what you value, it will then oppose Jupiter in the 8th house. So from your second house to your 8th house, you now have this point of awareness with what you emotionally value versus how much you might be overvaluing others. And with that, I wanted to quickly get to, before I run out of time, a quick rundown. Aries the Ram, executive, promising, competitive, impulsive. Got a lot of colored pencils. I'm hoping little by little I can possibly color this in. Here's just your basic brown. I actually found this very inspirational, that I saw this in my mind's eye as far as how I wanted to present this, and I figured, you know what? Why not show you just how artistic I can be? and end out the video giving you some sort of, I don't know if you can see all this. So Aries, your cardinal, your element is fire, your ruling planet is Mars, the anatomy is your head, face, and brain, and upper teeth. Your key phrase is I am, and your glyph is the ram's horns, and your ruler is, what did I say here? I don't know why I said the second house there. Oh my goodness. You rule the first house. Hello. Okay, now I know I'm tired when I write it down incorrectly. However, I had a great deal of fun with this. Look at this. Bronze yellow. It's just something I came up with. I think what I'll do is I'll end this video out because I don't want to run out of memory. But isn't this cute? I kind of came up with my own little astrological coloring book. But it's just for the sake of the presentation or the ending out of your reading. And I just come up with these quirky ways of doing things, and each one of the signs has a representation of what each sign has in either its animal state or human state, because not all signs have animals. And so I will continue the coloration of your sign in another video, and I'll just kind of keep adding to it as I go. Okay? And with that, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, and thank you very much for looking up upon the North Star. Bye for now, and until October, have a fabulous month of September. Okay, Aries? Okay, bye for now.